Would you say it went deep?
From one connected, from two connected, from two disconnected.
You said it went deep.
PC connected. Okay.
Can you hear me now? All right. Looks like much better. Even though I look like a trucker from another mother. Michael Breaker 19 for a Freemason regard Texas. The couch in front of the fish tank, as always. Just still jibber jabber. So the bank called me and sent me an email asking me about merchant services today, asking our thoughts on that. And I'm like, I haven't even got you the paperwork on it yet to integrate the website, so I haven't responded to them yet.
What's up, Mel? I saw Mel. So we are live, brothers. We are live. We live like that. But anyway, hey guys, how you doing? Killer week. Stuff. I'm glad y'all are back with me because flying solo last week kind of sucked. I wasn't ready for it, and I wasn't any good at it. But I'm glad my homies are back with me. So welcome back, brother Todd, brother Tony, brother Brad. I tried to say both your names at the same time. It's been a long week. But I did want to. I wanted to start off. Whoever, Mike, be quiet. I wanted to start off with one little thing. So one night, a brother was heading home after indulging a bit too much at the festive board after his lodge meeting. And he's weaving a little bit across the path, steadying himself on the lamppost and stuff. And a policeman saw him and walked over and said, "Well, sir, where are we going this time of night?" And the brother replied, "I, officer, am going to a lecture on masonry." And the policeman just kind of chuckled and said, "Where are you going to hear a lecture on masonry this time of night?" And the brother replied, "From my wife." No? Okay. Bad joke.
It's all right.
Is that one of those like dad jokes?
It's a dad masonry joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, now I get it.
Thanks. I'll be here all.
Yeah,
I'll be here
That was a
all.
good one, Chris. Don't
I
quit
had
your
a
day
dad
job.
joke at work today. This customer, he was up on a ladder and he was gonna pull his attic stairs down, and the little pull thing was broken. And he turned around and he goes, "Hey, do you have a screwdriver?" And I go, "Yeah." So I handed him the screwdriver and I go, "But it's right-handed screwdriver. If you're left-handed, it may not work." See, that one got a laugh.
Need to air up
Yeah.
that fifth wheel. It's looking a little low, man.
Yeah.
Well,
So what are we talking about tonight on regarding Texas Freemasonry? Welcome, friends and brothers. Welcome to our show. We're going to talk about.
I just wanted to kind of run some stuff that I'm like newly passionate about because of you, Bradley. And it's being a chaplain. And it has changed so many cool things. If any of you brothers out there get the opportunity to do it, do it. It's just incredible stuff. And I mean, going over kind of what a chaplain does, which my eyes were opened. I had no idea. Normally,
Sound like tonight's going to be a great undertaking, so we better pray before we do this. You sound serious. I mean, just food for thought.
we
You
might
going to
need to.
open us with prayer?
We might need to. We might need. Pray for me. I need it. And pray for Brad's dancing too, because he vogues during the podcast like Madonna. But I did, last few years going to lodge, any lodge and everything, I just kind of took it for granted that the chaplain was up there, and I was like, okay, cool. They pray before we eat. They pray opening the lodge. They pray closing the lodge. Later, you really kind of, I didn't think too much about it until Bradley approached me and I became chaplain for our lodge this year. And then I got to reading because I'm a nerd like that. Like, if I'm going to do this, I want to see if there's more to it than what I just think that there is or what I've seen. And it turns out there's a lot more to it. For you guys, it is defined basically that a Masonic chaplain is an appointed or elected officer in a Masonic lodge whose primary role is to provide spiritual support and guidance to the members of the lodge. Although Freemasonry is not a religion and does not promote any specific religious beliefs, it does require its members to have a belief in a supreme being, which we all know. The chaplain's role is thus to cater to spiritual needs of the lodge in a non-denominational manner. Now that's interesting because most of us are rooted in our faith, whichever kind that is, right? Whatever form that takes. We just kind of don't. I think up until this age, I've just kind of focused on mine. You know what I mean? What's happening here in my heart and stuff like that. And so this is interesting. That non-denominational manner kind of changes things because you got to really pay attention to your room and pay attention and keep reminding yourself, hey, this is, it's a non-denominational thing. But duties of Masonic chaplain, just kind of quick opening and closing prayers. We know that the chaplain typically opens and closes Masonic meetings with a prayer. These prayers are usually general and inclusive, respecting the diverse beliefs of the members. Again, a thing that we just don't do naturally. We don't think much, or I never did. I'm sorry. I just always thought of my faith, my beliefs, whatever. So it's interesting to have to take that role on. Spiritual support. The chaplain offers spiritual or emotional support to members who may need it, especially during times of personal hardship, illness, or bereavement. So, that being said, our lodges are supposed to actually, or not supposed to, but the chaplain, is supposed to be available for that sort of support should a brother need it. If they're going through something just tremendous, like hardship, illness. It can be, family stuff, whatever. Or it can be anything.
Life surgery.
Yeah, Tony. You hear that?
Hey, y'all been praying, and she's like running around all over the
I
place.
saw her go flying
it's
by.
working.
Yeah.
Thank you. That does it for this podcast. See, I told you.
She's healed.
That's awesome,
Won't
man.
go that far just yet.
Oh, dude, but that's
she's doing good overall. She's doing great.
That's fantastic, man. That's so great. Ceremonial roles. The chaplain plays a key role in Masonic rituals and ceremonies. This includes offering prayers during the initiation of new members, installation of officers, and other significant lodge events. Again, something I didn't realize. Memorial services. This is kind of a big one. The chaplain often leads or assists in conducting Masonic funeral services or memorials honoring the memory of deceased brethren. Guidance. While the chaplain does not provide religious instruction, that's important, they may offer moral and ethical guidance in line with the principles of Freemasonry. And then finally, inclusivity. The chaplain is responsible for ensuring that prayers and spiritual expressions are inclusive and respectful of the varied religious beliefs of the members. So, again, nerding out. If any of you chaplains out there, if you're not aware of this, or any of you are going to be, man, this thing changed me. It's called On Being a Masonic Chaplain, and it's by Robert Elsner, PhD. This dude is he's incredible. And he goes through, you can see it's a good book. I mean, it's you get a lot of information out of this.
There's some meat in there.
Totally. And
Meat and taters.
absolutely, man. You said it best. And the cool thing is that he goes through. I don't want to, you know, do the whole thing because you need to go out and get this book. It's amazing. You can Amazon it. That's what I did. It's cheap, wasn't expensive at all, and worth double whatever you pay for it. But it goes through the orientation to the work of a chaplain. You know, what is a chaplain? Assessing the required duties, and then if that's not enough, he goes through spiritual strength, spiritual gifts, all this great stuff. I've got stuff underlined in here. Um, you know,
I could tell you personally, I've really enjoyed the prayers when you open and close lodge. I mean, they are just powerful. I
that's
mean, they
all
have
this
a
guy.
great message. I guess in a way they are a message. I mean,
It is.
but ultimately they're they're they're, they're just great. I've really enjoyed the fresh touch of you sharing this.
Dude, thank you so much for saying it because it's something I'm really passionate about. Now, I will tell you what's killer about this is it goes through speaking, like your pace when you're speaking a prayer, um, not to blast through it
So it's a coaching book as well as
all the way. It is the go-to guide basically on how to be a Masonic chaplain. And the cool thing,
chaplain for idiots.
totally,
Or no, for dummies. That's what it is. Chaplain for dummies.
my case, idiots, for everybody else, dummies. Um, but it's cool. I mean, it goes through projection, like your voice, volume control, breath control, all these things. It coaches you on speaking in front of people. A lot of people, they have an issue speaking in front of people. They clam up, they whatever. He gives you pointers, but not only that, for the low price of whatever I paid for this, whatever you will pay for it, it actually goes and kind of it starts teaching you how to compose your own prayers. Pretty awesome. Yeah, there's stuff at the back, scripture list for certain events, death of a friend, loved one, birth of children, grandchildren. So when you're chaplain and you've got these events coming up, or your brothers have these events coming up, it kind of gives you that springboard of, okay, here's where you probably want to start. It's certainly not limited to just what's between the covers, but it dang sure gives you the prayers that you've been listening to are straight from Brother Robert. And so I've been working on composing some of my own and everything, but I just thought it was cool. It really took a lot of the stress out of it for me, because it takes you through opening prayers, and there's various ones. There's several to kind of choose from, and you could stick to those. There's no, you don't have to go off the reservation. And I like nerding out on it, because there's different things I kind of want to say. You know what I mean? I kind of want to
customize it.
But yeah, absolutely. But sick and distressed. There's several. I just can't say enough about it. Judgment-free focus. There's a whole chapter on just listening and caring, and that's really one of the biggest things that a chaplain can do is just listen. Just shut up, just listen, just absorb whatever the information is, and if you've got guidance and stuff, again, whatever your religious texts are, you can pull from that. You can pull from anywhere, but that's it. I won't go on and on. I've been 15 minutes on this already, but again, guys, go out there and check this out because this dude is just an absolute angel.
Do you mind reading that back part? Is that kind of the summary of the book?
Sure.
The back page there?
You bet. Yeah, absolutely. It says, On Being a Masonic Chaplain is a step-by-step guide to developing the position of chaplain into an integral part of any Masonic or appendant body. It is an exploration of the position as it exists in many lodges, chapters, councils, commanderies, consistories, college, valleys, shrines, forests, and other bodies. The book reminds readers that Masonry is not a religion, but that all members are religious, and that the lodge is never a substitute for church or other house of worship. From the beginning of the position descriptions to the mechanics of how to speak and read better, the book helps develop the ability to pray, lead, and listen to the brethren and serve the various communities. Special emphasis is placed on the on the less considered elements of being a chaplain to the organization. That's what I led off with, right? I had no idea so much of this was available or even a responsibility of the chaplain. Anyway, elements of being a chaplain to an organization, understanding that Masonic chaplains are probably not professional chaplains or pastors, but need to serve the spiritual needs of their members. And
Yeah.
so there you go, man.
Wow.
And again, the thing about it is that it's really, in my personal life, it's really kind of, it's got me
Flowed over.
it's got me to pray a lot more on my own,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
because
that is good.
I'm constantly thinking about, a thing that can happen, and how to design a prayer or tailor a prayer for a specific thing or event that happens to a brother within our lodge. So it's changing me internally and spiritually, and that's why I was so kind of gung ho to bring it up. But there you go. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's cool. So, for friends or brothers that are listening to our podcast online or live right now, I think there's two other people on there right now. So basically, Freemason Blue Lodge is the lodge that we're referring to right now. Blue Lodge is where we're all members of. I'm the worshipful master. Tony Lyons is the secretary, and Chris is the chaplain of our Blue Lodge. The Blue Lodge is all those small little lodges that you see in every little town. In case you're not a Mason, you see these lodge buildings in every little town. It's got the square and the compass on the building, but in the Blue Lodge, we have the 3 degrees: the entered apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master mason degree. And once you become a master mason, you can become other parts of masonry, like,
Ending bodies.
yeah, pendant bodies. So
Yep.
next week, we're going to be we're going to be interviewing the 2022 Grand Chaplain of the Grand Lodge of Texas, um, during Right Worshipful Brad Billings' year. Uh, his name is David Rogers, but some people call him Moses because he's got
That's,
this great big
I,
beard and
I think we should introduce him as Moses, honestly.
right.
Make him change his Zoom
But
name to where it says Moses.
so the
Do we have
Blue
the power to do
Lodge,
that by chance?
the Blue Lodge is open to all religions. It is basically not a Christian, not a Muslim, not a Jewish organization. It's not religious at all. All we have is requirements that we believe in one God, and the what is it, the
Higher being,
the
a
eternal
deity.
deity, and immortality of the soul.
Yeah, eternal soul.
So Masonry does not focus on religion. It focuses on brotherly love and affection, relief, and truth. Um, but basically, what Chris is referring to is basically praying in a way that is non-denominational or religious, not Christian, not, but it's open entirely for all religions, the way he's praying. And when we pray, we say Supreme Grand Master of the Universe, or,
Grand
things like
Architect.
that. Yeah, great architect, because we're praying to a deity. We're not really praying to. See, I'm a Christian, um, and I have a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and that's my religion. But I know a worshipful master that is Jewish right now, and then we know a senior warden that is he's Muslim. So next year he's going to be a worshipful master. allegedly, if he gets elected, which I think he will. But anyway, so Blue Lodge is really open to all religions, and it doesn't focus so much on that as it does the brotherly love part. But the York Rite, now the York Rite, which we're going to interview David Rogers all about the York Rite next week, so that'll be kind of fun. But York Rite is a more focused on Christianity, correct, Tony?
I haven't went through the Knights Templar yet, but from what I understand, the Knights Templar, which is also York Rite, is really where that fully takes part. I would say the first couple in council and chapter, it's kind of a continuation of the Blue Lodge.
Right,
So yeah, I'd say it comes more with the commandery.
right.
So,
Well, that's cool.
but
And
it
we
is
can,
the York Rite. But I mean,
yeah.
it,
And we're going to dive into all that
oh
next
yeah,
week. So I didn't really want to go down that rabbit hole, but basically, we're really just talking about Chris's chaplain job tonight, which, you know, I needed a chaplain for the year. In fact, we don't have all the officer chairs filled up because unfortunately, with Blue Lodge, there is a lack in membership. Um, that where we don't have enough. Well, I think we have enough. There's just not enough participation. We do have 59 members, and I don't know how many officer chairs there are. I've never counted it.
Stewards,
um,
they
two
count as
stewards.
officers. Yeah,
Yeah,
stewards,
Yeah,
deacons, wardens.
musician,
Yeah, you have the
musician,
musician.
the chaplain, the
Chaplain.
treasurer, the secretary,
Hmm.
the worshipful
mus-
master, the
museum.
marshal, and
There's
the master of ceremonies. That's
Yep.
13.
musician.
I already counted
Yeah,
that.
he
Oh,
got them.
and I
Yeah.
want to say theoretically there's supposed to be somebody next to the marshal as
Oh,
well.
and the Tyler. So there's 14.
Oh, how did we forget?
Yeah. Because he's always out the
He's
door
always
guarding
out the door.
He's in the outhouse hanging
Yeah.
out.
Tony knows a little
Outhouse
about that.
in the house.
Oh yeah.
Tony knows about that tiling.
I,
Yeah, man. You spent 2
I,
years
I,
out the
I
door.
stunk it up the last 2 years.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
2 years of being a
I'm
tiler.
glad
That
you're
is
back.
amazing.
I feel like I'm learning how to be a mason again.
Yeah. We threw you right to the wolves, threw you in the secretary's
Yeah,
spot.
But it's funny.
I couldn't be more honored.
We're kind of joking around, but you hit on something incredible because again, being so new to it and everything, there is every year if you were willing to take a position or get a position or work for a position, work for a chair, it's almost like starting over again in a lot of ways because you were focused and you were learning. If you're
There's lessons in every position.
absolutely,
There's
absolutely.
Chaplain.
there's lessons on the side. There's lessons after lessons. I mean,
It's kind of when you do the work up front, it's the gift that keeps just giving because every year you're going and you're getting a new education on wherever it is that you are in. And I didn't realize that before. I didn't realize it until this year, and then I'm like, my eyes got open, my brain got open, my heart got open about all this stuff, and it's truly changing me. Big
makes you a
time.
lot more appreciative to
Oh
be
God.
part of it.
Completely. I've got a brand new respect, and I can't wait to travel a little bit more because now I want to go talk to other chaplains and go, let's talk shop, man.
Yeah,
And because it's like Brad, what you were saying, when you're talking about non-denominational prayers, there is an art to it. If you've been praying the same way for 50 some odd years, and then you have to kind of really, really think about what you're saying and make sure that it is tailored and works for everybody, it changes wiring in your brain. You look at a lot of things differently, man, and you have an appreciation for a lot of different things that you did not have an appreciation for before.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
the
Yeah.
prayers are also vitally important. You know, we open with a prayer, um, because we're trying to connect our hearts and minds. You know, we go through a ritualistic opening, which is supposed to bring us from the external to the internal uh, sanctity of the lodge setting. You know, and then once we pray, it's supposed to connect us to the the great architect, and that's supposed to help us be more brotherly during our meeting, because Masons can disagree upon a lot of things, and we've discovered that. Um, and but we don't have to hate each other or get in a fight about it. Like we can do it. Um, let's see, where was that? Let me look this. Let me find this thing. I did an education last night at my other lodge that I'm a part of, and it talked about the worshipful master, and he said, although the worshipful master is not required to do so, he would be well advised to render his decisions in such a manner that no brother loses face or is made to feel put down. A soft word of explanation from the worshipful master may make all the difference.
Mm.
Perhaps the worst reply that could come from the worshipful master when questioned about ruling would be the curt comment, because I said so. So anyway, that's what I'm saying is you got to be, you could say what's on your mind, but you don't have to say it in a way that's hurtful. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. And even if we do say something that might be hurtful, like we can come back around and forgive each other because we're brothers. We're supposed to. We're supposed to anyway.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's real easy to grudge something, right?
Yeah.
It's real
Yeah.
easy to remember that time when maybe you felt like you were kind of slighted or put down or something, and you never know what that person's dealing with. You don't know the tone. It gets much more dreadful when you're texting or email because there's no inflection, there's no tone. You can't see the dude's grinning and going, having fun and not being mean. And I think learning these things and kind of looking at it, I'm better at work because of it. I'm better. I mean, work's a real hard place. Corporate environment, man, you could disagree with people all day long, man, and people don't care. But being able to kind of absorb that through the practice of what you're talking about right now, Brad, of going, at the end of the day, we're bros. Bottom line, end, period. That's it. There's no more to that sentence, and there's nothing to be said after that. And I think it helps family and just the dynamic of family and dealing with neighbors, anything. It's just important what you're saying, man, and it does spread out everywhere. It's not just for the lodge. I guess that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. What I was reading there is actually in our monitor, um, which we're allowed to just leave out for our families to read or whatever. And this
I was going to
is,
say that's open
I
for the
printed
public,
it
right?
off, but this is in parliamentary procedure, section of the monitor on the worshipful master and his duties. It's right at the end of his explanation. But we are a parliament, which is why we say worshipful and stuff like that, is because the term parliamentary refers to the British Parliament, but it is derived primarily from the French word, and I don't know how the pronunciation, but Perrier, or meaning to speak. Parliamentary law, therefore, is
Oh, parlay.
concerned with
Parler.
no,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it is an L. I thought it was an I. Yeah,
No, yeah.
parlay,
No, it's
parlay,
parlay means to speak in French.
parlay.
Hmm.
Okay, to speak. So, parliamentary law, therefore, is concerned with proper procedures controlling speaking in a deliberative assembly. So that's pretty
Nice.
cool. Um, basically it says the purpose of the parliamentary law is to maintain decorum. So, Tony experienced that. What happens is you get excited in a meeting and you start saying something exciting, and then some a brother may start talking with another brother like, hey man, that was pretty cool, or whatever, or they're discussing something that you know that they don't want to wait to
Be
stand and
recognized.
be recognized. And so there's our room, it can echo, and there you get several people in there talking and you can't really hear what's going on. And um we do these things called motions, for the people that may watch this afterwards, where
It's
we
just
make
like
a,
any other business meeting, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, you make a motion and it has to be seconded, and yeah, it's like a parliament thing. But anyway, if everybody's talking, the secretary that's supposed to be scribbling all this stuff down, he can't keep up fast enough because there's all this talking and he can't hear who said I second or whatever. So
I need the chaplain to
decorum,
pay for my
yeah,
I I seem to remember
brain
we
to.
ran into that recently.
yeah.
Yes.
And so decorum, basically, whenever the worshipful master gets up and gavels because there's stuff going on like that, that's called a decorum gavel. Or whenever I'm about to start the meeting and I gavel, that means that everybody needs to. When the worshipful master raps the gavel, he takes charge of his lodge, demanding silence in the room and requiring every brother to be properly clothed and seated.
There you go.
Yeah. So it maintains decorum, to ascertain the will of the majority. It protects the rights of the minority and assists the assembly toward its goal, the orderly, expeditious, and equitable disposition of business. So I didn't really want to talk about parliamentary law tonight, but
Why
that
not?
just kind
It's
of
all good. It's all good.
what we talked about last night. So I kind of wanted to discuss finances of the lodge because it's been something I've been working on for a while, and it's odd that I'm putting this much work into something that seems so simple to a lot of people, but some people have a hard time with it. Of So let me just reel it back a little bit and talk about. I want to talk about me for a second. So my whole life growing up, I never was very good with money because I never had anybody like teach me, hey, this is what you do with money. Step one, step two, do this, step three, do, all the way to retirement. You know, Nobody ever taught me that. And when I finally started earning money and my job, I was able to start buying things. And then credit card companies are like, hey, here you
Don't
go.
forget about us.
Yeah, here's some plastic. All you do is just swipe and you can have whatever you want right now. You don't have to save and wait and work and sacrifice. You could just have it right now. Why don't you go get it? And man, to somebody that doesn't know or understand finances, it's easy to get caught in that trap because
24% interest rate.
yeah, our whole, and this is kind of going down a rabbit trail off of masonry, but this brought me back to where I'm at now. So I learned once I got in a pickle, that I was getting basically going bankrupt and I couldn't afford bills and it was causing stress. And I found a way out and I started climbing out, and I'm not out all the way yet, but I'm working that way. But because of this is so fresh in my mind, becoming the master of the lodge and learning about what is our lodge finances doing? Like, what do we have to, what's the four walls? We've got a Grand Lodge, like it's Grand Lodge per capita. It's what dues that each member has to pay $2,000 lodge. It's the lodge. The lodge is actually responsible for paying for every member that's under a 50-year Mason. And it's $27.50 per member for the lodge. So our lodge right now has 59 members, and I think like
Right at 30.
yeah, like I think like 9 of them are
Oh,
over 50 years or something like that. So it's like 50 members that we have to pay, and whatever it is, it's like $1,400 that we have to pay $2,000 lodge. So that's number one.
I can tell you right here, stand by, sir, because it's an important thing that you bring up. I think you got 8 50-year members.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so anyway, you got that number that we have to pay is $1,400, and so we pay $1,400. The next big ticket item is insurance for the building. Um, so the insurance for the building, we suspect that this year we're going to have to pay about $2,500. Last year we paid like 2,200, something like that.
2037.
2037 was what we paid last year. This year we suspect is going to go up.
That's a significant increase.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is, but we're actually going to be shopping insurance right now to see if we can get a better deal or whatever. I don't really know. The next ticket item is our utilities, and that's really it. Those three things: Grand Lodge per capita, insurance, utilities. We own the building, or we own the upper floor, I believe. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really know, but we allegedly we
Well,
own the top of the building.
it's got to be, or I would think that if we didn't own it, we wouldn't be paying for our own repairs. There would be some assistance, at least, I would think, from a landlord, right? Or no? Am I wrong on that?
I
all
don't know.
depends on your lease agreement, but
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so anyway, those three items. Um, let me do. I forgot to add it up. I mean, I've got it written down on the thing. So 2,500. Our utilities is like $3,000.
3288.
Yeah, 3288
Yes, sir.
plus the 1405 for the Grand Lodge
Per,
per
per
capita
capita. Yep. Yep.
is $7,193. That's how much we have to pay just to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Well, the amount of money that we have coming in is about $5,000. So we're in a $2,000 deficit just to keep the doors open. But only 30 of our members are actually dues paying members. So raising dues is only going to hit those 30 members. I'm actually endowed, so I don't have to pay dues. I'm not required. I still do. I still do. I still donate the dues. But so we're only getting $3,000 from dues, and I think we get like $800 or something from our endowments, and
About a grand.
about 1,000.
Just a couple dollars shy.
it was 11, I thought.
Oh, you may have updated numbers, T-Bone. I'm just going off of the old paperwork that I got.
Let's call it 1,000 for
But
simple
yeah, I
math.
mean, yeah, the effect's still the same, I guess.
So
Yes.
basically, 30 dues paying members, 885 is what we're getting back from endowments.
Yeah.
This year, that's what we'll get back. So $3,000, 3885, and we're talking about bumping up the rent on the Eastern Star, but not really sure if that's going to go through because they don't really make a lot of money either. But right now they're at 750 is what their rent is. So I mean that's only you know, so we're basically in the over $2,000 deficit just to keep the doors open. So we have to do fundraising just to, pay the insurance bill basically
Yep.
for our lodge. And so we're basically asking the community to buy things from us, or we're selling
Take
them
part.
to just to pay our insurance, which doesn't seem right to me to ask the community to support our,
No, that money should be going towards the kids.
yeah, any kind of fundraising should either be going
Yep.
to kids or local community or,
Yep.
keeping our building up, you
Yep.
know, or investing for future Masons, in the lodge. So anyway, that was, to me, it makes sense to go up with the dues. Um, Not everybody likes that, but I was talking with one of the members today, which happens to be part of the city of Royce City. You guys know what I'm talking about. I just don't want to
Oh, yeah.
mention his name. But anyway, he basically, I sent him all these letters that I made up that I'm sending out to everybody to tell everybody, hey, this is where we're at. This is what I'm thinking we're doing. Even though what we do is we're still gonna be in a deficit, but we got to make some kind of move in the right direction. The next biggest thing that we need is more Masons.
Yep.
More Masons paying more money to help us out, and more Masons joining our fraternity and our lodge.
I think a
With
lot of
that
that is.
being said,
Oh, sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we just need quality men, though. We just don't want warm bodies. I
Right,
mean,
Masons,
and I don't know
not
how to.
members.
I'm not trying to bash anybody. It's not the easiest thing to become a Mason, and so
No,
it's pretty
It's work.
elite and work. That's a good way to say it. So just
Well, I mean,
so
it's not. I mean, both your points. I mean, it's not a hey, this is a hobby. Hey, help me pay to keep this thing open so I can go hang out with dudes, once a month and things like that. I mean, my interest is in it specifically. Our lodge, our town's growing leaps and bounds. And so the other thing is, getting to be an older guy. I mean, I want the lodge around for future generations, right? And
of course,
and the only way to get it there is to make sure that we are preparing ourselves for the future. And that's anything you do. That's
yeah,
anything you do. That's personal finances. That's running a business. Doesn't matter. It's the same logic. It's the same principles that have to be put into place to ensure your longevity.
yeah,
It's just math,
yeah,
man. It's simple math.
yeah, yeah. It is. And so there's a lot of solutions around paying more money, or not, there's not a solution around it, but there's ways to do it to where it's not such a burden. Grand Lodge has a way where we can pay payments every month, and it could be like an
Wow.
auto. I think you can auto draft $15 a month or whatever. Then it's almost psychological, like your phone bill or your Netflix or your whatever subscription you have, name it. It would just be like that, and it just goes out automatically.
Well, and the thing is that frees up, if there is any additional or excess, weird way to put that, but if there is any discretionary funds at the end of that, once your utilities and everything else, if Grand Lodge will let you do that, that money that you're not having to send in one big chunk, right, can be used in something interest bearing, or right, you know what I'm saying, in an account that would be earning you interest,
Yeah,
just again like you would do in your personal life, or businesses do, or what have you. So that may
right.
be a cool thing to look into. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I mean that's a good solution there. We can have money put into a benevolent fund to help brothers that can't quite pay it all, you know, so where we're not actually losing a member, but a lot of guys are too proud to even ask or even receive that kind of help.
Yeah,
But oddly enough, that's what we're supposed to be. That's why we're that was what we started the whole meeting with, was talking about chaplains and
absolutely.
being brotherly love and all this stuff. So
Boy,
that's
you,
really what it's about.
yeah,
And so really my whole point about this whole conversation is exactly what you said. This lodge, we want this lodge to be around because this lodge has taken you, Chris, and changed you
big time.
by putting you in a position that you didn't know anything about.
Mm,
You learned about that position and it's changing you,
yep,
like personally, not just in masonry, but in your marriage, I'm sure, in
absolutely is.
your grandkids, in your work life, everything. It's changing you. It's
Amen.
changed me, seriously, like a lot. And I know it's changed Tony because he's talked about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's an
Yeah.
incredible thing, man. I mean, it's an incredible thing we have, and the what you get out of it, what people think you get out of this, and what you truly get out of this, man, this is an education you can't go buy anywhere. You know what I'm saying? This is
yeah,
not something you can go to Eastfield and pick up,
And
man,
we're
and
all
take
getting
courses.
it, and we're almost all on different roads.
Oh,
yeah,
Does
absolutely,
that make sense?
without a doubt,
yeah, dude.
without a doubt. But yeah,
Really
those
weird.
it's just it's 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 doing what we're doing here. It's being in the community and just make it infectious, right? It's like, what is
Hmm.
that guy doing? He always seems happy. He always seems like he's having a good time. He's always around the same group of dudes. They're always doing cool stuff. And I want to be a part of that, right? That's how you do it. You don't door knock. You don't really have to talk about it. They need to, I want to do that. That looks awesome. And because that's what happened to me. That's
Yeah,
all that happened to me.
yeah,
It
Make
was
them say, or, how I almost want to say, when people say, "What is a Mason?" Don't make them ask that question. When they see us, they know
show
what a
them,
Mason is.
show them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
show them.
that person. Be.
And and the more, it's funny because people will see it, just they'll see the change in you. Like, it could be at work or it could be at home life or whatever. Home's pretty easy because the wife knows, hey, I'm doing this thing and it's awesome and I love it. And they kind of see from the edge of what you're going through and the stuff you're having to do. Some of it, a large part of it rather. But anyway, I could go on and on and on. I'll shut up. But it's amazing the changes that people will see. So no matter where you start on that line, that change is, it's going to be huge. It's
yeah,
it's just going to be big. Again, I can't say enough about it, but it's killer.
yeah,
Good stuff.
totally.
How's secretary
Yeah.
world, Tony? Is it everything you thought it
Oh,
would be?
yeah, just playing catch up, trying to get, I mean, the first few months, just trying to get everything in and everything in order. Um,
Wow,
our old secretary said, he's like, "Hey, I'm here if you need help." After our first meeting, he's like, "You don't need me at all. You got this." I'm like, "I'm faking it until I make it.
that's
I
awesome.
promise you."
Heck yeah, dude.
But no, it's good, I guess, but it is a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But once again, I'm learning things. It's a lesson, another lesson. I
yeah.
mean,
Yep.
hope you get to experience it one day.
I tell
There you
you
go,
what,
Chris.
wow. Now you really are putting a lot of faith in me. Uh,
I, I, I'm praying every day for me to make it through this.
yeah, but I tell you what, it's amazing, man. The stuff that I watched our previous
I think
secretary
so
go.
far, I think being a worshipful master was easier than this.
Well, it's
Totally,
it's funny because
totally, dude.
watching what our
Just stand up
previous
there
one
and look
went
pretty.
through, and he knew, and the stuff he knew off the top of his head, and I'm like, how do you know that? You know what I mean? and he just on point, man. Just knew his stuff, and I'm like, what? I could never do that. Give me the prayer
Yeah.
book. That's perfect for me.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
it simple.
Keep it simple, baby. No, it's impressive
Uh,
what you're doing, man. To me, it's absolutely amazing. It really is.
a few little changes me and Brad have made. I've got a lot of compliments on it, and we're headed a good direction. I like where we're headed, and I
Yeah.
was like, we're just going to keep getting better from this point forward.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure,
I
Well,
mean,
man.
we
it,
had our first meeting,
with that,
and we didn't get to talk after our first meeting, but basically all we did was make all our committees. And then Tony actually put all those committee members like on their profile, like what committees you're a part of. So when you go look at your profile on Grandview, like it'll show you like what committees you're on, which is kind of cool.
Very.
Um, so Tony's really going the extra mile and putting in that extra work to coordinate everything. I'm really I'm gonna mention next month that I really want the committees to do all the legwork of the discussions and making the decisions, and then bring that decision to Lodge. And if you are passionate about something, you get on that committee.
Mm.
Um, I got an email from Lebanon Lodge today. Lebanon Lodge is up there in Frisco, and basically, let's see, you can see this, but basically, like they have their committees broke down into like 4 sections: into membership, charity, community, and lodge. And then each of those sections has a subsection, but their chairperson is the chair of membership, and then the chair of charity, and the chair of community, and the chair of lodge. And then all the other subgroups are just, he just, so they have the 4 different committees, but each of them have subgroups that they
Oh,
basically,
damn
so
it! Just
whenever you have committee report, that chairman will get up and report on all those committees
it just
by
dawned
him.
on me what you were describing. Okay, so there's only those base 4, and then
Yeah.
underneath that you may have.
he's responsible for
Yeah.
5 other things under that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Membership is new members, prospective members, investigations, committee on work, awards, lodge and social engagement, and education. Charity is fundraising, scholarships, tournaments like golf tournament, fantastic teeth, school supplies, toy drive, or whatever. They do all that. We don't do a toy drive, but we do all the other stuff. The
That is awesome.
community is, they do a blood drive. They do something for Scottish Rite, family services, Boy Scouts. Um, they do a lot. And then the lodge has the building committee, long range planning, bylaws, Vanguard, fundraising for the building, um, all that different type of stuff. Communications and the website.
We could totally do a blood drive too. You remember where were we? Were we in Kaufman or something like that?
Uh,
When the lady came from the blood drive
I know
came,
we all visited.
all 3 of
That
us
might
were
have been
there.
Kaufman. I might,
Yep, it was Bloomfield.
Brooklyn.
There we
Where
go.
was it?
Bloomfield.
Bloomfield
Yeah, that
In
one too.
in Kaufman.
in
Yeah,
Kaufman, yeah.
yeah.
But we could do that. I mean, we
We could. Yeah,
could. The thing about it is that our town is growing so quickly. You know, we're getting to the size where you can pull some people, man. It's not a tiny little town that nobody knows about anymore.
yeah.
It's getting big.
If we're out there in the community more, people will come up and talk to us. It's
Yep.
interesting.
Yep, for sure.
Yep, yep. I've been to several events where Masons come walking up that were either an EA at our lodge that never could finish because life got in the way,
Mm.
or they have family members that are Masons that they're like, hey, how do you become a Mason? And really, that's it. Is to be one, you have to ask one like, how do you become a Mason?
Yep.
That's the only way to become a Mason because we don't invite people into Masonry. It's against the Grand Lodge law.
Easiest thing in the world to do. I mean,
Yeah.
those are the words right there, Brad, that you just said them, and then poof, off you go.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of gets taken care of for you. But yeah, uh,
Knock
it's
and the door will be open to you.
that's it, man. I mean,
That's right.
it's amazing. It's amazing. So I've got a lot of there's a lot of excitement for the future of our lodge.
Yeah.
A ton of excitement and optimism.
Yeah. Um, I want to mention before we close out for the evening, um, we do have some events coming up.
Oh yeah, there you
Um, so pull this up. So see this Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I'm gonna make some eggs and some bacon at the lodge. We're gonna eat.
That's
So
Central Time.
yeah, I'm actually gonna get
go.
there at 5:30. I'm gonna go get groceries right after we're
I,
done here.
I thought he was gonna say,
But
"I'm just gonna make some eggs and bacons for me. Y'all can do whatever you want to do."
yeah, no, I'm gonna make some eggs and bacon and then invite everybody up. And I want to practice receiving the DDGM. So we do a bang up job doing that whenever he comes, either next month or the month after. I don't know when he's coming.
We should get an email, you and I, and also he'll mail us a letter,
Right.
which I need to go
Um,
check the PO box.
so anyway, 6 o'clock in the morning, come up, eat breakfast. We'll practice a little bit and go have our day. But that way we can get some practice in before the day starts. Tony, I know how you like getting up early.
Yeah,
You go up there to the gym every morning and work people out. Let's work your brain out.
no promises.
All right.
I'm good. I can
Uh,
jump every seat. I can make them all happen.
so Saturday, August 17th, we have a girl that comes and makes our meals for us at our lodge. She's going to be installed in Rainbow at the Greenville Lodge at 11 a.m. And then right after that, I was planning on going to visit one of our members at one of the memory care places over there in Greenville for like 10, 15 minutes. Just pop in, say hello, and go that, after the thing. Because we can go see them from 11 to 2. So I figure maybe we can sneak in there before
Squeeze
then.
that in.
Yeah.
Is all this in our calendar, Bradley?
It's on the newsletter.
Okay, perfect,
Yep.
fantastic.
It is all on our calendar except for that, what I was just mentioning, that Saturday, it's not on our calendar in the lodge. Um, the
Okay,
next one, Wednesday, August 28th, I'm going to take a field trip. That's the other thing I need to ask my wife about if she wants to go with me. But the 14th MWSA is going to have at the Doubletree Hotel by Love Field. It's 6:30 p.m. They're having dinner, and it's $20. And then it's hosted by the Dallas High Noon Club, which is the oldest lunch club. They meet every Thursday at that same place. If you're ever
okay.
in Dallas at noon and want to go eat lunch with some Masons on Thursdays, you can go to the Doubletree Hotel and meet up with those guys. It's been meeting there for years. It's the oldest like lunch club ever in
That's
Dallas.
crazy.
Oh,
I didn't even know.
So
Had no idea.
but there's going to be a Masonic comedian. His name is Carlton Newberry, and he's a super nice guy, and he's funny. And anyway, he's going to tell a
I hope
story of
so if he's a comedian.
a partially true history of Freemasonry in America. So I'm
Partially.
going to go. I'm partially, yeah.
All
And it
right.
is open to husband, wife, kids, family, everyone.
That is August 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the DoubleTree. Um,
I will be there. I'm planning on
yeah.
that as well.
Of course, our stated meeting is the first Thursday of the month. And then we do have a big speaker event on September 14th. We are going to have 5 speakers. We have Cody Stewart, Committee on Work, Justin Jones, and Dennis Yates of Masonic Improvement Podcast.
Nice.
And they were also Dennis also was part of the officers leadership training and things like that. So,
He's also a
and
Grand Lodge officer, isn't he?
he's been DDGM whenever Brad
Oh,
Billings was. So he's a
I think we
maybe
went and
that's
he
saw
why I'm
was
Dennis,
thinking.
didn't we? Didn't we see Dennis speak on was it
no
again? Was it the three of us? We didn't see him speak on something? I'm
no
confused. I'm confusing him with somebody else. Never mind.
no. So Dennis Yates, Justin Jones, and then David Rogers, who we're interviewing next week.
Mhm.
He's gonna be coming to our lodge and speaking on um, something regarding like spiritualness of Freemasonry. Uh, the whole topic of, and I'll get to the keynote speaker. Um, his name is Robert Park. So Robert Park has been on the Civil Law Committee at the Grand Lodge for years, and super smart. Me and Tony went and watched him speak one time on dissension in the lodge, like how to kind of handle dissension in the lodge. It was really good. He talked about having, anyway, I won't go down
Shut
that
up,
rabbit
Brad.
hole.
That's enough already.
Yeah,
How you gonna deal with me, huh?
yeah,
You want me to mute him,
but
brother? I
yeah,
can
Take
mute him.
that,
just
take that
don't have
smirk off your
ego.
face already.
Like to make a motion to mute Tony.
Yeah.
Seconded.
Uh, but anyway, he's going to be speaking. And so the whole topic of the thing is called esoteric, the internal and the external. It's September 14th at around noon. We're going to start, and Cody Stewart's going to talk about opening and closing the lodge. And then Justin Jones is going to take over and talk about the importance of why we open and close the lodge the way we do. Um,
Very cool.
so it's going to be really interesting, and then we'll stop and have some food, and then while we're eating, I believe we're going to have David Rogers talk about the spiritual aspect of esoteric, um, internal and external. And then Robert Park and Dennis Yates are going to wrap it up after we eat and bring it back home to our lodge theme of the four cardinal virtues. So that's going to be pretty awesome. That'll be about a 3 hour event with lunch squeezed in there. So
Nice.
September 14th, noon to about 3 ish, somewhere around there. It's going to be a free event, and I will be providing lunch. Um, and whatever
You
is
catering?
donated. What?
Are you
No,
catering?
I'm just gonna make lunch. I'm gonna make some food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can
I'll
help you
cook it.
with any of that you need,
Sure,
dude.
great.
If you
Yeah,
need
that'd be
help.
great.
Yep.
So yeah,
Having calf fries.
yeah,
Ugh.
huevos.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Oh, come on,
there's
Chris.
one more that I want to mention before I'm done talking, and that's September 19th, which is the very next Thursday. We have a called meeting. Larry Fitzpatrick is coming into our lodge. We're gonna have a meal at 6 o'clock, and he's gonna talk about. We're gonna open lodge. It'll be a tiled meeting, and I believe EAs and everybody can be there because he's gonna do a deep dive into the EA degree and talk about things about the EA degree that are not normally taught or talked about. And that's going to be 6 o'clock meal, 7 o'clock gavel drop, finish at probably about 8. So
Right on.
yeah,
Got a lot of stuff coming up, man.
yeah, a lot of things. And September 7th, which is the weekend before the 14th, there is a degree on the Lexington and Corpus. I think it's in Corpus Christi, the battleship, the Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way.
There is a Master Mason degree on the battleship, performed by the
What?
Knights of Mecca, who raised me, and I'm affiliated with them. I'm not quite a member yet, but I am in the shrine, and I want to be a member of the Knights of Mecca. So anyway,
That would be incredible to witness.
yeah, I am done talking. So that that was my final thoughts. And thank you
Uh,
for joining us. And do you guys have anything to mention before we close out?
no,
No, thank you. I'd say thanks again, Chris, for what you shared. That was powerful.
oh, thank you
Yes.
guys.
And
Appreciate it, man.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. Thank you guys. This is so much more fun when y'all are available. It's way more gooder when you guys are around. So, man, this has been awesome. I got one more.
I'm sorry. I didn't know we were doing it last week. I thought we
Dude,
canceled.
no apology necessary, dude. No apology. I just we had one scheduled and I didn't want to bail on it. You know, I had to offer up
Gotcha.
something, even if it was 15 minutes of me being a bonehead and talking about stuff.
Well, give me the cliff notes of that meeting or podcast.
You
How'd
go
that one go?
watch it.
Go
No.
watch it. Give me some views, baby.
Oh, okay. I'll try to get you some more
It'll
followers.
it'll only take you like 15 minutes of your time. You'll probably fast forward through a lot of it. I think I said probably like 86 times in 15 minutes. But anyway, all right, brothers. Well, hell, I guess I'll see y'all in less than 12 hours.
Yeah.
Sounds
See you in
good.
the morning for
We'll have some
breakfast.
fun, man. Thank you.
And that's open to everybody, right? No.
It better
No.
be.
I mean, the community, if they want to come eat, come eat. But then we got to get
Yeah.
after it.
That's right.
Got
All
work to
right.
do. All right, fellas. Thank you again.
Peace
All you
out.
people watching, like, subscribe if you will. It'll really help us out. And we're going to catch y'all next time.
See ya.
Nope, wrong one, Chris. What's wrong with me? How about that one? Let's do that one.
We actually had some people watching while we were recording, so that's kind of cool. I saw four people, and the three others had these. Nobody said anything in the chat.
I guess you're seeing that on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm watching it while we're doing it.
Slightly delayed.
Oh, I can